Hi, we're back with another edition of The Journey with Joe, and I am super pumped. I am excited to have my boy Neel here.
Yes,
Last
sir.
name's not Home, but everybody thinks it's Neel Home, Forward
Yes.
Academy. Super blessed and grateful to have you here, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me, bro.
Thanks for coming to the Chateau de Soto right here
That's
that we got going on.
Well, this is another example of like, just do it wherever you can, right?
Yeah.
It was funny. We were doing a podcast with Gary Vee a long time ago, and I got kicked out of the venue because I wasn't supposed to be shooting video at the conference he was at, and the guy just threw me out.
Oh,
so we were
shoot.
supposed to shoot a podcast with him in this room there, and they were like, "You cannot shoot any media here. It's only our team.
Oh,
You guys
damn.
are out." And it was the guy. You remember the guy? I don't know how many problems put him on blast because he cursed me out, but there was, the dude Anthony Casa
I've heard
from
it. Yeah.
AIM.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's just because I'm not a broker. I'm like, dude, I thought we were all on the same team, mortgage,
Really?
right? But I guess
No.
there's a different section of the mortgage teams, brokers
So-
and bankers.
Anthony put you on blast.
He's like, yo, first of all, blah, blah, blah. You're not supposed to be here. And if I see you with those cameras, I'm going to have security get you the F out of here. And I was like, holy
way.
shit. So we couldn't shoot in there, long story short. And we had to walk next door to shoot a podcast. And I found a room where we could do it in. Turned out to be epic. Like, it was a dope podcast. But we were walking with Gary, and on the footage with Gary, he's like, man, I don't care. We could sit down here and shoot it right here.
Yeah.
Just like in the lobby. It doesn't matter. Mic us up. Let's go. Like,
Correct.
it doesn't matter where we do it. Let's just do it.
Let's just do it. And Gary Vee, it's a great example, right? Because he filmed stuff like all over the damn place, right? It's
Yeah.
never perfect. And that was my thing with this. It was like, look, we can get together, we can collaborate. Is
Yeah.
it going to be the perfect venue, right? Like, you just got to make it happen, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
I thought that was a great example this morning as we were doing it. I'm like, there's so many people out there in life who are making excuses, right?
Yeah.
It's not this, I can't that, I won't this, it won't that. And it's like, bro, just do something. Like,
Yes.
take some sort of action, right? And I think you've been super good at that, right? So I did lots of trolling through the internet,
Okay.
in scrolling through Neel's life of social stuff. And what's cool about doing this podcast is I've talked to so many people who have had these crazy journeys, right? Everybody's got their own story, and that's why I started doing this, because I feel like there's so much that we can learn from people.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about you is that so much of your stuff is on the internet,
Yeah.
right? Like, I've talked to people and like I can't find anything.
Yeah.
But your stuff is there. So I scrolled all the way back to Neel's first post, and I got some really good screenshots on here.
All right.
But I think people see you from now and they're like, bro, he's got it all figured out. He got the black hat with the black shirt, and like, it's easy, but it hasn't been.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so how'd you start doing content, and how much fear did you have before you hit record? Because I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing for people out there. Like, everybody says it. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. And you're coaching people at a high level.
Yeah.
And they all have the same excuses, right? Like, I talk to them all the time, and people are, paying good money to be in the program, and they don't do shit,
Yeah.
right? So, like, how did you start? Because you were doing it in 10 years ago, right? Nobody was getting in front of the camera,
Yeah.
and you were just doing it.
So somebody told me this, and it's always stuck with me, is a hack that you can use to get more comfortable doing these videos, right? And he said, just take your phone out and just shoot, like, you get your phone and you just shoot selfie style videos, right? Just try and do it. And you don't have to post them. Just get, like, because what it is you just have to get comfortable. In the beginning, you know what's really bad is when you're watching the video of yourself and you can't even watch your own video. It's bad
Yeah.
when you can't even you're like, man, this is bad.
This is
So
bad.
that's how we all start.
Yeah.
You hate the way you look and sound and all that kind of stuff. So the best way to do this is just take your phone out, shoot the videos as like, just do 10 tips, 10 days.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you don't have to post any of them. And I guarantee you by day number 10, you're going to like it a little bit better.
Yeah.
You might even be at the point where now, shit, dude, I could actually post that, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is the spotlight effect as well. Like, you think everybody's thinking about you. You think that they're all like, man, this dude's a chump, blah, 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 blah. And nobody's thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. They got
Yeah.
their own shit going on. And the one dude who does think you're a douchebag because you're recording a video, he's just mad because he didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
You know what I mean? So at that point, I just realized at some point it clicks. You could just be yourself. And I don't know, that journey is different for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's a really great tip, because everybody's scared to hit record, right? And it's like those first 10, 20 are gonna suck.
But what's cool about that, bro, is what you just said is I've had so many cool things happen to me because I hit record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I think, like, once you think about it, you go back, you start doing the videos. Once some good shit starts happening to you because of your videos, then you're like, dude, this is dope.
Yeah.
I need to do this more. My little thing about worrying about the fact that I got big bags under my eyes or that this wasn't good, like, you don't care anymore because so many good things are happening. So I've met people that I would have never met because I hit record. I've had opportunities and doors open for me that would have never been there if I didn't start with those posts where 8 people watch and 12 people watch. And that's how you get there. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to get all these amazing returns. It's the first time like you have something in your opportunity in front of you where the upside is literally unlimited.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen that type of opportunity before.
Yeah, because
like,
the reach is so far.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you had one recently that had like 1 million views or 3 million views.
I think it's at 6 million. Yeah. Crazy.
It was the one my mom sent me, by the way.
Yeah.
Right?
There you
Like,
go.
I sent you that. My mom sends me Neel's video. Thanks, Mom. I appreciate it. She's like, you should follow this guy. He's really good. I was like, damn it. Stupid mom. But that was good, right?
Yeah.
And the reach is so far. Like, you're in Reno. You could only reach a handful of people in Reno.
Yes.
Right? Like, how far can you go in Reno?
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
that far.
So in every market, everybody's in, whether you're a freaking realtor, lender, insurance agent, whatever it is that you do.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't even think you need any of this stuff, but it'd be cool to have it when you do need it.
Yeah.
So for example, like, I was having a sphere. We call it your sphere of influence. Friends, family, clients, friends of friends. And that's where we all lean into to get our business and to build our network.
Yeah.
And that's good enough to build your business. But at a certain point, if you want to go next level, you need more than what your sphere can give you.
Yes.
So then it's like, oh shit, how do we get more people? And the best way to do that was just to put yourself out there. So it sounds, everybody's heard the things before, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And why don't they do it? And so that's a great topic. Like, why aren't people doing it? And it's because of, like you said, fear of judgment. They don't like the way they look.
That's the biggest one. Right? There's that one friend that you think is going to talk shit on you.
Yeah. And
one person.
And honestly, I don't think that even happens as much as people, or it's like such a small thing that they're just overemphasizing it.
Yeah.
So what I think is, it's more of a thing of having an attitude of always seeing the downside in everything.
For sure.
That's the problem. And that's why people don't invest in real estate. That's why people don't take a shot and start that business. That's why people don't ask for the promotion. Like anything in life, you just only see the downside.
Yes, you're wired to go. I was talking to a client literally this morning, and she was telling me all of the reasons to not buy the house.
Yes.
And I finally was like, all right, what is the reason to buy it? And she's like, well, this. I said, you need to talk about that.
Yes.
Right? But she was giving me everything, her family, and it was mostly her people in her sphere were telling her why she shouldn't.
Well, what happens if there's a major repair? What happens if there's
Correct.
this goes wrong? What happens if you get misled? What happens if the market goes down?
Yeah.
What happens if the market goes down? Nothing happens. You literally just make your payment and nothing happens. Like, people worry like so much to the point where that worry keeps them from every single opportunity. Everything that could go right for you, it's literally kept from you. It's locked away because you're worried about the few things that could go wrong. It's like, that's just going to mess everybody up.
Yeah. So I look as going through your posts and stuff, right? Like, everything you post now is super sharp. Great solid, great audio, great visual. You're not in
bro,
hotel
one
rooms.
thing you didn't see is prior to that account, which goes back 1,000 posts. I think I'm at like 1,100 posts or something like that. I don't know. Prior to that, I had an account for 2 years, which got messed up because I hired some company to like help me with it. And then and the engagement went to shit. So I had to literally close that account, start a new one. So the account you see today was my second try.
Dang,
I already had one try prior to that for 2 years.
Wow. Yeah. So I was looking at it and I'm thinking, like, I went all the way back, right? Like, superhero Neel.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this is where we cut to the superhero Neel in the video. I mean, you had cartoons. I mean, you tried lots of different things, right? Which I think is super interesting. So you made lots of deposits.
Yes.
Right. And you made all these attempts and you tried lots of different things, right? But you were very clear on, like, video is important. I need to educate. Right. I think you had a purpose and your intention was very clear. You just tried a bunch of different things and you didn't stop when one thing didn't work. Right. And I think that's awesome. It says a lot about you. You and I think, are very similar because you're very relentless.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you find people, you chase them. I'm going to learn. I'm going to get close to this guy. Right. I'm going to learn. Like, the thing you did with Gary Vee was one of the best videos I've ever seen in my life. Right. Where does that come from? Like, where does that drive come from, that like won't say no or being relentless? Like, is that from how you were raised, or is that just something over time you just have gotten more confidence as you've made more money, or like how did that grow?
I think you do get more confidence the more success you have, so that helps you go after bigger and better things. But in the beginning, it starts on just making a bet. So I don't know for a lot of people, maybe you haven't really bet on yourself, or you tried something and it didn't work out. So I've had, a lot of people see like, oh, this worked out. I had so much stuff didn't work out.
For sure.
All kinds of failures along the way, really bad ones too. Like where I messed up and lost 6 figures on something stupid.
Oof.
Or did this or that, right? And so what I think you find out is eventually you're not scared of the downside anymore. So you bet on yourself, didn't work out. Bet on yourself, didn't work out. And you only need a few wins for it to actually wipe out every single loss. Like one big win literally wipes everything out. So it's almost like gambling, but not in a bad way. I don't want people to be a degenerate gambler freaking on their sports betting app, but I'm telling you, like, bet on you. So everything else you don't have control over. This is the one thing you have 100% control over. Like I can control how much effort I put in, how much action I take. I literally control the outcome.
Correct.
Like there's some things in the market I can't control, but I control myself. So then like that's the part where I really like is like, hey, I can do this and get this result. If I put in this work, I get this. If I stick with it and I'm persistent and consistent, I'm going to get this result.
Yes.
And so once you start seeing that, then you're like, I'm bought in because now I'm winning. And I think that's the other part is people see these huge goals. And for me in the beginning, it wasn't trying to build this huge thing. It was like, dude, how do I get to have 10 people show up to my workshop? How do I get to 50 people liking a post? How do I get to not sucking shit on video or not freaking, my mouth would literally go dry in front of a room of 5 people.
Really?
So I was great one-to-one, but if I go to talk to a small group, I would get super nervous and my mouth would go super dry. So I would have literally a pitcher of water next to me when I was speaking. So anytime I was like going to teach a class, I'd have like a big table and a huge thing of water because I'm like, I need a lot of water. Problem with that is now you have to take a leak midway through the thing. Like, you know what I mean? So it was really like a thing where I had to.
Bladder control is real.
Yeah, bro. It's really like, so I was super nervous, but that's the thing is you have to just try, you know what I mean? So I think for most people, they don't even get past that point. So I think it's like get excited about something.
Yep.
Number 2 is you start doing it. Excitement fades because it's not that easy anymore. And now you're in the shit part of like, hey, my excitement's come down. This is hard. I'm not getting anywhere. How do you persist through that period? Because on the other side of that is all the things you want.
Correct.
That's the part where everybody quits. And that's the part where actually I was getting small wins. So if I think about this, I think the key for anybody listening or watching is like, if you could think of some small wins.
Yeah.
Because psychologically, then you're like, dude, I'm winning.
I'm winning. Correct.
Not freaking, I didn't do this and now I'm losing. This isn't working. Like, dude, 10 people came? Fuck yeah,
Sweet.
bro, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I got this person to see that video. That's the person I've been trying to connect with for years.
Correct.
And they watched my video. That's sick. So the little wins I would get excited about. And then that's what drove me to get the big ones.
Yeah. And I feel like when you do fail, like people out there, entrepreneurs, business owners, like they fail, but they don't fail as bad as the average person thinks. Like you think when you fail, you're going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're going to lose a lot. Right. But it's not going to break you.
Yeah. This is a great point you brought up. So it's risk.
Correct.
Okay. So risk. What's people's relationship with risk? Most people are risk averse. Okay. Because you don't want to lose money. You don't want to lose things. But in the beginning, what do you really have to risk? Your time. So this is what I think people do. They overvalue their time. If you're just, working a job and you want to build a brand, you want to do this, and you're like, dude, is that really going to work? Well, what do you have to fucking lose, bro? You have time. What is your time spent now? So let's just audit your time. For me, I was watching a ton of sports. Yeah. I was obsessed with like gambling on different things because like I'm a dopamine guy. Like I need some action, bro. Yeah. So I'd be like, do this. You're
the guy betting on the game that had a 17-point spread.
Yeah.
Like,
live betting too. Okay. So that's cool. I would be playing like games, and I'm like, I know the latest Netflix series. Like, I'm like, so what am I doing with my time?
Yep.
I'm always activities. And some people say, well, that's cool. You need balance. Okay. Well, whatever. But I'm auditing my time. I'm like, dude, I have time. What do I have to give up to try this? Okay, I can't watch Netflix anymore.
Sweet.
I can give up not being as big of a football fan anymore. I got some time. What's the risk? You know what I mean? Like you're taking a risk. You're not even putting money up, bro. It's just your time.
Correct.
So if you're not even willing to do that, like I don't think you have any place to complain. But I think that's where people should start. It's not that big of a risk. It's your time, which a lot of people are wasting anyways.
All the time. But yeah, they're wasting it on shows and social and just things, right?
Yeah, and I'm not knocking anybody. Like I know my wife tells me this all the time. Hey, why don't you sit down and watch the show? Or like, and I need to do more of that. You know, I need to get disconnected from
my
this
wife
stuff.
does the same. She wants me to watch like Real Housewives of wherever.
I like the ones where they get in fights, like where they break shit. That's kind of
really
fun.
Yeah. She gets me to watch them. The Bachelorette, and now what I started to do, because I'm a supportive husband, so now I sit there and watch The Bachelorette, and that's my time to schedule my posts.
Hey,
so I sit there, life hack, right? Because you gotta be with your wife, right? Like you gotta be with her. I have no interest in any of the housewives at all, but I'll sit there and cuddle up next to her, make popcorn, and then I schedule.
Sometimes
my posts
just
for the
about
next
you
couple
being
days.
there.
It's
right?
just that is what I've learned. Like her love language is time.
Yeah.
Right. She just wants me there, even if I'm doing something else or I'm in and out. Right. Like during the pandemic, she loved it. She's like, "You're home every day," and me, I'm like, "Oh my God, what am I doing at home?"
Stir crazy.
Right. I was stir crazy, but she just wanted the time. And I think sometimes our spouses just they're wired different, right? I think we were talking about that, where what gives us the dopamine hit doesn't give them the dopamine hit.
Not
right?
at all.
They're wired totally different. So you do have to give them that time for sure.
100%. Yeah. And if you're doing all this stuff and your family hates you, it's not going to work anyways. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to be able to even focus and be yourself in the videos or have fun. You got to figure out that balance, which is hard. Yeah,
which is super, super hard.
Yes.
So in regards to like making content, right? So then you got better at making content.
Yeah.
And you like, what influenced you to get better at making content? As far as like lighting and sound, like your shit's really good, right? But how is that progression? Who has motivated you or inspired you or mentored you in some of that stuff? Because in the beginning, you were just lone guy talking video, right? Yeah. Like I watched some of the stuff and it was just like, hey, I'm Neel from All Western Mortgage and y'all need to be doing video, right? Yeah. But then what propelled you to take it to this level that you're at now?
Yeah, I think it was, so what I realized was I was starting to put out the videos, but I noticed this, and the algorithm maybe doesn't reward you for this, but I noticed consumers and business partners treated me better the better quality my videos were. So they would be like, man, that looked really good. How did you do that? Or I watched your video, dude, that was sharp. It looks good. Yeah. So the fact that I wasn't as good at video, being like myself and communicating, the quality would start to make up for that lack a little bit. Oh. When I got the good at video plus the quality, it's like, boom, you know, you can rocket shit. But in the beginning, I wasn't so good at communicating on camera. Didn't have my confidence. I was speaking more passive, not direct, because you're just not there yet. But the quality like would help bridge that gap. So people would still treat me better. So once I found out that like, okay, people do judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad truth. They freaking judge. People are literally on their phone judging everybody, that every scroll, they're judging this guy, they're judging this girl. And that's just the truth. You gotta play the game. So if people are judging you, you should look sharp. You should be heard. You know, like that would be cool if the quality was there, because people associate that quality with your quality.
For sure.
Like better or worse, that's the truth of the matter. So I figured, hey, if I can get better at quality, now people are going to treat me better. And I started to see that. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to take this next level. And you can go too far with it to where it looks way too produced. So I don't want to go there. But like there's a ground, like on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe 6 or 7. It's the sweet spot where everything looks way better than everybody else. Yeah. But at the same time, it's not too overproduced. It's not Hollywood. Yeah, you don't want to get overproduced.
Yeah. So I don't ever see you do any of the TikTok singing, dancing stuff. Is that not your jam?
No. So I've tried like some trend stuff. I'm not that type of dude.
I saw cartoon Neel, right? I've seen a couple of like Neel pointing.
I tried that.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of it, like street sign with Neel. I saw one with the Neel signature on it, right? Like the Gary V.
Yeah, I tried all of it.
But I think you do like an awesome, like, you think we got to get you on the TikTok dancing.
Yeah, I'm not good at the dancing stuff yet. My daughter's trying to get me into that. I've done some TikToks with her. Yeah. But yeah, for me, I'm a nerd. Love information, love learning. Yeah. And so then I would just take those topics and put them out there. So that's a great thing of like, information can be entertaining if you do it in the right way. Yeah. So a lot of people think it's boring. Dude, the viewers say otherwise, right? Why is a video going viral right now about assumable loans? Why? Yeah. People literally want to know, what is the hack around these higher interest rates right now? That's what that tells me. Yes. It tells me that there are a ton of consumers, realtors, lenders, everybody in the marketplace that would love to learn how to save money. Yes. Saving money is actually entertaining for them. They will go to YouTube and spend hours watching videos on business, entrepreneurship, starting a side hustle, making money. People love, there's budgeting accounts that literally go viral because they're freaking finding clips on like how to make a budget.
How to
What
save.
could be more boring than that? Like, dude, if you save this, then you put in this index fund, now it compounds over 10 years. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah,
Now you
like
take
that.
off. Everybody's
Yeah, but people love that shit. So
do.
why don't you, anybody who's thinking about information, they think, well, I got to dance. No, you don't have to do any of that. You could just literally talk. Like, so yesterday I did a video about how to make sure you don't give up your unused Southwest travel credits.
Oh,
Boring AF, right? But still, people started a lot of conversation. Like, yo, I didn't know that. Like, I probably have unused credits and then they just expire every year.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go here, find it, and then make sure you put it in here because they don't want you to use it. They would
don't
love
want
it.
you to use it. Yeah,
And
it was hidden, right? It was like, you got to hit the drop down or it's
I
gone.
bet you that, I wonder what the stat is. Hundreds of millions of dollars unused credits. There's a stat from Starbucks says something like there's $1 billion being held in their like you have to refill your app. So like when you pay, you could refill your app or your card or whatever, right? And so they want you to do that because people don't use it. So, there's little things like this that people you could
People
learn.
are interested in saving money hacks, their finances, right?
Yeah.
I don't do any of the song and dance stuff either. I cannot lip sync for the life of me.
I think you could, bro.
No,
I mean, I think
horrible.
you could.
Like, it would literally take me 15, 20 takes and I'm angry. Everybody thinks I'd be good at it because they're like, you're friendly and you're this high I personality. I suck so bad. So I don't
But you come up with more ideas. So, we're in a group. We got a lot of people in a high level group and then also a more massive group of people. So I got a good sample size.
Yeah.
And there's not that many people. I guess a lot of people just haven't tapped into their creativity yet. There's a small group. You're one of those people. But like even coming up with stuff like everybody says this now, side chick Soto.
Yes.
Right? Everyone's like,
everybody says it, dude. I saw two people in the lobby yesterday.
For the benefit of people listening to this, because now they're going to think it's weird. What is side chick Soto?
So I went to speak at a room with Keller Williams agents, and I'm driving over there, and I know everybody has a lender, right? So I was going up there and just going to talk, do the lender spiel. And I just addressed the elephant in the room. I was like, hey, you all know a lender already, right? Cool. I don't want to replace him. I just want to be your side chick. Like when your main guy doesn't call or answer your phone call, call side chick Soto. And dude, everybody laughed. Everybody was like, dude, that's so good. I'm like, y'all have somebody. I'm not a home wrecker, just a side chick.
But what's dope about that is it's memorable.
Yes.
And so it's funny. It's memorable. I heard it once. I haven't forgotten it. Right.
Yeah.
That's important. And then everybody in the group says, yo, I ran into Side Chick Soto today.
Yeah.
Where's Joe? Where's Side Chick Soto? And it's like, that kind of stuff is cool. That's marketing. And you may have been just messing around, but that's marketing. People remember you.
Yes.
So whatever it is, whatever you can come up with, they'll just try stuff. And if you tried that and it didn't work, it would have been something else. It would have been the next thing. It would have been, it's like, you just said you scrolled down through 1,000 posts.
Yeah.
You saw cartoons, you saw this. I was trying to be Gary Vee for like a year. I was trying to do this. But along the way, you find your own voice and you find your ideas. So the hack to get these ideas is to just start copying somebody else, start creating. And then along the way, you'll get your own thing. You know what I mean? Like everybody copies somebody else. They want to be like this dude or that dude. And then you figure it out. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, I think people would say, hey, Neel, you're starting a class and you're creating a bunch of robots. And I do see people like literally come in a suit and then like 2 weeks later, they bought the exact same shirt I would like to wear. They got the melon hat. They got like the whole thing. And they're like,
the starter kit. Dude.
Yeah, the starter kit.
I called it the starter pack, the forward starter
And
starter
so,
pack.
I mean, like somebody like, dude, aren't you like, doesn't that weird you out? I'm like, no, dude, maybe I gave him permission or her permission to just be herself. Maybe he always wore hats. Yeah. And now he's just like comfortable doing it on camera. So like, definitely be yourself, but like, if you have to try different things out, who cares? And then the cool thing is in the beginning, barely anybody sees your stuff anyways. Correct. So it's not like there's not these big things. Dude, what are they going to say? Well, you suck. So probably nobody's going to see it. The algorithm's going to basically keep that shit down. It's just going to be your friends and family who see it.
Yeah.
And they don't care anyways.
So it's funny because I think I've gotten more comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
For a long time, I was like, even posting on stories, right? Like I'm good at it now, and I'm consistent. I stopped caring.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for me because I'm so concerned with what people think about me, right? That it was important. Like it was really big where I'm just like, F it. Like some people are gonna like me, some people are gonna hate me. I just need a small percentage of people to like me to live a really good life.
Yes.
Right. So that's all I'm worried about. I'm like, cool. Some people are going to appreciate Joe.
And that's a dope point too, just to make for everybody is like, okay, in this era of like virality, and you see these YouTubers with millions of subscribers and all this, and you're like millions of views. Do we have to do that in order to have success? Well, if you're in a high margin business, or you're in any business where each client is important to you, each individual client or partner is important to your business, then that means you only need a handful for this to be wildly successful.
Correct.
So I think of it like this. We have a tent. You're trying to bring a bunch of people into the tent. 99% of the people in the tent will never transact with you.
Yeah.
They will never freaking do anything with you, but they need to be there in order to reach the 1% that could.
Correct.
Right? Because if you just had the 1% don't want to go to the tent that doesn't have anybody in it. You know what I mean? So like if you're walking on a field, you see all these tents, and me and Joe are in there, there's some music going on, there's like 40, 50 people, and it looks a little fun. Like I might go in that freaking tent.
Yeah.
The next dude, it's like 2 dudes that look weird and there's nothing going on and it's empty. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep walking.
Not so much, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's what you have to think about, like your following and stuff is it's not necessarily like, oh, I've got all these followers and whatever. Like all you need is freaking 50. Like imagine if 40 people in an entire year reached out to you. How much of an impact, bro, would that be?
Yeah.
Or one business partner. Imagine, like, you know, the value of a business partner that refers you and you refer them for the whole year. That's a huge relationship created from this. So I think people they've got it backwards. They think you need big numbers to have success. No, you just need an actual community.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have the majority of the people in your community never do any business with you. They just got to be there watching your videos. Yeah. Maybe they engage with you a little bit, and that's cool. There's value in that.
100%. So how does somebody, because I'm talking to a lot more agents and people, right? Realtors who are like, I want to grow my audience. I have 382 followers. Like, what should they be doing starting out, like base level, right? Like, what are those first couple of steps that you've seen work for people?
Okay, so first step is you should start engaging with people in your sphere. Okay, so like if I'm friends with Joe, I'm gonna go to Joe's account. Let's start back. First and foremost, get some good content on your page.
Yes. Okay.
Like post some good videos, optimize your bio, get a good photo. So now you've got your digital business. It looks decent. You're actually proud of this little thing that you've built. Cool. Now reach out to people in your friends, in your network, people that they follow, people that follow them. Because then if I reach out to somebody in there, and how do you reach out to them? Go to their post, drop a comment. Yeah. If I'm somebody who has 200 followers and somebody leaves a comment, I'll go look, who's this Joe dude leaving a comment here? Yeah. Or somebody replies to a story. What happens when you respond with the heart emoji or a fire emoji on a story? It opens up a direct message conversation.
100%.
Now you go check out that person's content. What happens then? They're going to see your next post. So you may not like get everybody to follow you the first time you do this, but A, your content looks good. B, now you're networking with different people. Now they're driving more traffic. So I think people think like, oh, you build it, they will come. Nobody comes. Bro, it's hard, right? Yeah. So you got to drive traffic. So what I would do in the beginning was literally like an hour every day, I would just message people and actually use it as networking. Because I'm an introvert. It's harder for me to go out and talk to people at events, but it was super easy for me to just drop messages and comments. Yeah. And you still need to do the one-on-one, but it's a really passive way of starting conversations. Because what's cool about DMs is people can ghost you, and it's cool.
They just disappear. Yeah,
and so what's cool about that is like, don't ever do this shit. Like if you're in DMs and you're DMing somebody, and you're like, okay, dude, I gotta go to bed now, signing out. Like, dude, you just made it all weird now. Just leave. Just don't say shit and leave for 2 weeks and come back and we can pick up right where you left off. Yeah. Don't make it weird by like.
My daughter would call it weird.
Yeah, that would be super weird if I was like DMing you at night about something that happened, and I'm like, all right, bro, I'm off to bed. You'd be like, what? Dude,
I didn't even know all of that.
Yeah, just leave it. Like, so.
Ghosting's okay.
But that's a form of communication that's super easy. It's super relatable. People can drop one comment. And so that's kind of like the coffee meeting or the thing before the next step.
The thing,
it'd be like, this is just how you build that. So I would have hundreds of those conversations open with people. So now more people are aware of you. And if your content is good and you're engaging with people in a genuine way, not spamming people, now they're going to follow you. And then the other part, which is going to be helpful, is along the way, some of your content might take off because you have this opportunity right now with Instagram. You've seen it. Yeah. You'll post 50 posts. A few of them might just take off for free, organically. They'll just be shown to a bunch of strangers. Yeah. And you don't really control that other than you can make good videos with good hooks. But some of the videos are not going to perform. Some of them will. And the ones that perform bring more people into your tent. For sure. So you're doing the organic work of like engaging with people, plus Instagram's helping you out a little bit along the way. And then all of a sudden, I mean, you just did it. Yeah. You went from 0 to 10K in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah.
By just doing that. I'm pretty sure you did that exact blueprint, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I didn't do is use the time to respond on other people's stuff because
Yeah.
I really don't like to be in the social.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like I'll post on stories, but I'm out. Like I'm not really in there. But I love that hack, right? Where if you're trying to grow it, take that time that you're spending on housewives or watching the baseball game or the football game and engage.
Dude,
right?
just imagine the compounding effect. 15 minutes a day. Okay. And 15 minutes a day, I'm just saying, like tonight you got time. You sit next to your wife. She's watching the Housewives. You take 15 minutes and respond to people's stories and drop comments. And you did that 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Imagine how many conversations you start in the DMs. I guarantee you, if your content is good and you know what you're doing, you positioned yourself properly and you did that, you will make way more money by doing that. And the 15 minutes is going to pass anyways. It's going to freaking go by, and you would be scrolling, watching some girl twerk on TikTok, or you could literally take that time and drop a few messages, like, and do it in a genuine way. You see a story and they're eating the food looks bomb. Like, where is that? Let's start a convo. Like, you know what I mean? So stories start a lot more conversations. And if you do it genuine, I think it's going to help. And then the other part is you don't have to become obsessed with this. You could just do it in small bits. Yeah. And that I'm telling you, 5, 10 minutes,
Compound
15 minutes.
Effect, I love that.
Yeah. Shit adds up.
Yeah, it adds up. Well, hey, man, I know you're pressed for time.
Yes.
I appreciate you spending some time with us and dropping some dimes, dropping some knowledge. I'm super, super grateful for you. Looking forward to seeing what the next 6, 12, 24 months looks like, man. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, cool.